Okay, on a similar idea as the program note idea, you can use metaphor to also do kind of like a character sketch. The way I think about this is think about the last good book you read or the last good movie you saw and pick a character from that. Let's do it just for easiness. Let's think of something that everyone knows or like a lot of people know. Let's say Star Wars. Okay, let's say Star Wars, the original Star Wars. Um, let's say Luke Skywalker. Okay, easy, right? So we've got this character of Luke Skywalker. What would his music be like? And you can almost think of this like a film score. Think of it like I want to write music that is his theme music. And I want to go through with the music a similar journey that he goes through. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off the music. The first section of the piece is going to be, maybe a little bit innocent. I'm thinking of the very, very first Star Wars movie. Maybe it's a little bit innocent, has a naive sound to it, something like that. And then as it goes throughout the piece, it's going to get more aggressive, but still use the same themes that I introduce in the very beginning. Let's think of another one. Star Wars is actually a hard one because it literally has theme music already associated with it. We think of the score to that movie as very iconic. Let's think of maybe something classic, like well, how about here's one that's not classic, but it's one that I've actually done. There's this book that I love. It's not a widely known book, but I love this book to death. It's one of my absolute favorite books, which is saying a lot because I read a lot of books. It's called Geek Love. If you've never read this book, oh my gosh, you have to read this book. It's about, I won't give you the whole synopsis of the thing because it's kind of complicated, but it's about a circus family in like kind of old Dust Bowl era, like 1920s-ish. And they have what's regarded at that time as a freak show. And in the freak show, there's a Siamese twin, or there are Siamese twins. I'm not sure what the plural of that is, but there are Siamese twins. And she has, it's a woman with two torsos, so 4 arms, 2 heads, and they play piano in the book as part of the show. So I wrote a piece about kind of just imagining what their music would sound like, and I wrote a piece for piano 4-hand. That means 2 people sitting at one piano. The idea was, the person on the left would play a little bit more aggressive music than the one on the right, because in the book that's kind of how they're characterized. And they go through some kind of wild stuff. They're not even like the main character of this book. It's a pretty crazy book. So I use the narrative of the book to kind of tell a musical story. I follow what happens to them throughout the story, and I kind of make musical analogies to that to kind of help guide what I'm going to write. And remember, these are just ways of generating ideas. That's all. But I really like this character sketch idea. I tell this to students all the time, and I have students do it all the time. Everybody can think of a character. And the great thing about this character sketch idea is that it sets you up to write a suite of music right away. Because what you can do is, if you write, let's say you write like a piano piece about a character from a story that you like, then for your next piece, write another piano piece about a different character. And now you've got a 2-movement piece. And then if you do a third one, you've got a 3-movement piano piece. And that's great to have. That's a great thing to have in your portfolio, is a 3-movement piano piece. So you can call it a piano suite if you want. And if you're, another kind of take on this is if you're really into creative writing and writing yourself, then write a story. Write a story that has a character. If that's more comfortable to you, do that, and then see if you can translate that into music using metaphors and some of the other things we've talked about in program music and things like that. So the character sketch idea can get you a lot of material pretty quick just by thinking about it. Okay, let's move on to another technique I have. The next one is a bit more literal. So let's dive into that.